Hey guys, this is Becca from Haka Fitness, and I'm sitting here with my buddy, Dr. Jordan Axe, and he is the owner of Crazy Kombucha, and he supplies the kombucha at Haka Fitness, and so we're here to learn all about kombucha. What is this magical drink that everyone's drinking? Why are we drinking it? And really, should we be drinking it as much as we do? How's it going, bud?
It's going great.
Awesome.
A lot of amazing questions.
We got lots of questions for you today, but let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
First of all, lay it out on the table. What are your credentials? Because are you just like making this stuff in your basement and we're selling it to people, or are you legit, you know something?
Well, I make it in the alley in the back of Kombucha Fitness.
Oh.
Save money.
Gosh,
No,
that's the smell.
No, I had to get certified by the state, and so I make it in the back of the juice box, actually, their certified kitchen there. So, but I'm getting ready to expand and open a facility in Tampa.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
How did you get into kombucha? Like, how old are you?
26.
Okay, so I don't know many 26-year-olds that know much about kombucha, so I want to know how you even got on, how to get on your radar.
It was probably 5-6 years ago. I was eating at Whole Foods with my brother, Dr. Josh Axe, because that's where he eats every day. And he bought me one. I had no idea what it was. And, I was learning about health at the time. I was trying to, no sugars, increase probiotics, all the things that we're learning about. And kombucha was a great way to not drink a soda or something sugary and then not drink water. I want to drink something carbonated that has a good taste. And it was, a little expensive that I drank a ton of it, so I started making it at home. And, one thing led to another, and now I have my own company.
Got you. So you had a smart brother, and you were poor, and then those things came together for you to start making your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me this, all right? So we've got all these magical flavors and stuff. So like, are these chemical, natural flavors that you're adding to this stuff, or what is that? What is kombucha? What's in this glass right now? What am I drinking?
This glass is your basic kombucha, and then you add whatever flavors that you want when you put it in the keg or when you put it in the bottle. So it all has the exact same base. So like my ginger, for instance.
But it's like literally ginger.
Yeah, the ginger, every flavor is different. Like
Right.
the acai berry is...
Okay, but like I guess my thing, what I'm asking you is like when you go to Burger King, which I don't go there, like it smells like flame grilled, but it's not actually flame grilled. Like you see it come out of the freezer, it has the marks on it. But you're actually putting the flavor.
Absolutely.
So if this is passion flower, there were passion flowers sitting in this.
Exactly. Mainly it's just blended up and and strained out. So it's never been pasteurized or anything like that.
Okay, but the base, what is the base made of?
The base is literally just a fermented oolong and black tea. Some people use black, some people use green oolong. I like to use a blend, and I think that gives it a better flavor, but oolong and black tea.
Okay. Now I've heard through the grapevine that you put sugar in kombucha. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. And yeah, a lot of people freak out, like, oh, that's white sugar, stay away from it. But it's fermented, so the SCOBY, you'll probably ask me that question in a minute. The culture is eating the sugar and releasing all the probiotics, the vinegar that you taste, all the different health benefits are fermented from the sugar.
So you're making a tea vinegar from tea, essentially.
Correct.
Okay, and then we do a second fermentation, and that's where we add in the flavor. But we're adding the actual ingredients, we let it sit, it gets fizzy, and then we have this magical...
Correct. So your primary is, there's oxygen involved, so that's when it's releasing vinegar, your probiotics, gluconic acid, things like that. When you place it in the bottle, there's no oxygen, that's secondary fermentation. The bacteria in there is still eating the sugar out of it. But instead of releasing vinegar, it's now releasing carbon dioxide, creating a natural carbonated beverage.
Gotcha. So I did a little research before we had this talk, and so it seems like, typically speaking, kombucha is actually only about 30 to 40 calories per 8 ounces. So that's a pretty low carbohydrate intake. Now, also, you mentioned gluconic, or you might have mentioned glucuronic, but it has both acids, gluconic and glucuronic acid in it. And I read that that's really good for muscle recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so really good for maybe post-workout, just a little bit of carbohydrates, some gluconic and glucuronic acid for anti-inflammatory and for healing, and then a probiotic dose.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you mentioned the SCOBY.
Yeah.
I've seen one. It's scary looking.
A lot of people are very scared. I was scared, but I wouldn't touch it the first time I made it.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy looking.
Yeah.
So that is the culture. So that's a living organism.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. But it's like a bacteria, fungal colony.
Yep, it's actually right in the word SCOBY, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It's basically bacteria and yeast living and feeding off of each other. So the bacteria eats some of the sugar, releases something in the yeast, feeds off of that, and it kind of lives in harmony. And that's what does the whole entire fermentation process.
Lives in harmony.
Yeah.
Look at that. If you drink kombucha, the world will be at peace.
But everyone's scared of bacteria now. Your entire digestive system is made of bacteria. Without bacteria, we'd be dead.
Sure.
Your gut and your digestive system, your immune system, is only as healthy as the bacteria that make it.
Sure.
So a lot of people are scared of bacteria, but it's really a good thing. And you're getting so many different strains, and you're getting a real life source that you're drinking.
Yeah.
That's what,
My baby, Cole, he's 14 months. He drinks this stuff like crazy. He loves it. Okay, great. So now we know what kombucha is. Now, this is the $1 million question for you.
all right.
Don't lie. Do you ever make mixed drinks with it? Because some of these flavors would go pretty good with, some gin or some vodka.
I have done with some vodka.
Okay.
But what I like more than anything is the kombucha wine, where I add champagne yeast. It's almost like a champagne kombucha. It's about 6%, and I'll add different flavors to that. I don't sell that right now because I have a license for it, but when the company comes over the house and stuff like that, we'll have a couple bottles.
So,
hang out.
Do you feel like people could drink kombucha every day?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you feel like that's a healthy part. I think it is. I encourage my people, specifically post-workout. But what would you say is a good serving size?
If you're going to drink it every single day, like a glass this size maybe.
So this is an 8-ounce glass.
But I drink 12, 24 ounces a day. But I think you want to have a good moderation.
Anything in moderation.
Anything in moderation. If you're drinking, 24 ounces a day, probably not the best,
It is still a carbohydrate.
It's still a carbohydrate. There is vinegar in it. You don't want to overdo it.
Gotcha.
But, like a bottle a day or 8 ounces is
so when you sweat, if you start smelling like kombucha, that's too much.
You might want to just down a million.
Down just a little bit. Unless it's crazy kombucha, and then you should up it.
Yeah, and then you got sprayed everywhere.
Got it. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for coming out and telling us all about your kombucha.
Absolutely.
We're really excited that we have it on tap, and it's been great.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Awesome.
See you guys.